The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our free picks and podcasts in one convenient app over there in the SGPN app. Download the SGPN app today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no guys. Me, really real, feeling real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. I've said it actually multiple times this year overall. But every time we get this situation, I say the words, and the words ring true. Well, maybe they don't ring true, but nonetheless, they are the words and they are true. The best two words in sports. Game 7. Lights, camera, action for a chance to play the New York Knicks in the conference finals. It has been a long time, and I mean a long time since we've heard this situation. But here we are. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons about to go to war. One team's going to Cancun. Other team is going to the conference finals. Got Lonte Smith here with me. Lonte, what's going on?
Yeah, not much, man. Yes, it's going to be a good one. Good response from Detroit with the backs against the wall. I think it'll be a good game tonight. So looking forward to it.
All right. And I mean, I have to give you and Detroit credit, Lonte. Last we talked about the last game. I jumped ship. And you know what? This is what happens when you jump ship. This is why you dance with the ones who brought you. You keep riding with the ship. Like, I cannot believe that I jumped ship on the Pistons and they won that game 6 how they did. For somebody who has been a lover of the Pistons since day one of the season, all the way, I am just utterly, totally disgusted with myself. I need a timeout in the corner. And in fact, there's a pretty good corner here, and I will be putting myself in timeout after the show because I should have never. You don't jump ship, and you know what? That's what I get. That's what I get. The Pistons dominated, handled business in Game 6, and now we are here in a pivotal Game 7. Lonte, what you think the home court's going to be like?
Yeah, I think it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, Detroit is a good fan base. They've been showing up since last year whenever they were unable to get a home win. So I mean, I think with a chance to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since I think since they went to the championship with Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, and all those guys. So that's been quite a while. I would say like '08, I think '08, '09, or something like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be an electric environment. I think Detroit's going to feed off of that. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be crazy. 8 p.m. too, so you getting these fans time, to kind of get liquored up, get a good meal. They're going to be ready to go. I think.
I I normally it's concerning because, and we're about to get into the game. I promise you in a second, but it's concerning because I am such a lover of the Pistons, and well, this season, but I one understand the fact that as a New York Knicks fan, I do not want to see the Pistons. The narrative, how they beat up on the Knicks in the regular season, and just the sheer unluckiness of the Pistons looking like shit, playing 7 games in their first 2 series, in both series, and then coming into the conference finals and beating the Knicks. Like, that's just the most Knicks thing to happen. So, like, I as a Knicks fan, I very much do want Cleveland to figure this out. They are a road team. The road teams have been great in game 7s in recent history. However, I agree with you. I think the home crowd is going to have something to say in this game. Let's talk about it. But first, I got to make sure I mention to the people. Preakness is this week, so make sure you go check out the Preakness preview on the Sports Gambling Podcast and claim your free $25 Preakness bet plus a $200 deposit match for new members at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. That's nyrabets.com/SGPN25. All right, let's get into it. Game 7. Winner take all. Cleveland Cavaliers are on the road going to play the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are laying 4.5 in this game. 206.5 is the total injury report. And it is Larry Nance Jr. is on the injury report for the Cavs with illness. Doubtful. Kevin Herter, Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, all on the injury report, questionable as they've been all series. Okay, so my question to you, Lonte, is how or what does how can Cleveland get the offense going in this game? Because they shot 39% last game. Evan Mobley's been lackluster to say the least. James Harden's had a lot of turnovers. He had 8 in the last game, eight turnovers to 4 assists. And Donovan Mitchell is either all the way on Donovan Mitchell or they clamp him down, get the ball out of his hands, and he's forcing up shots, and he doesn't look great, Donovan Mitchell. How does Cleveland get the offense going on the road here?
Yeah, I think number one, it starts early on. So you got to get the crowd out of it. So you want to make them kind of sit on their hands and not get riled up so the Pistons can have, a better chance of, having that momentum swing. Because I think role players obviously play better at home. We saw the role players actually play really well on the road in game 6. But with that crowd being behind them, I really think that the Cavs have to get off to a good early start. And that means, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden have to be aggressive early. I know Harden wants to get guys involved, but I think you got to get your offense early, hunt your offense early, be engaged a little bit earlier. You're going to have to take some pressure off of Donovan Mitchell because, Asar is doing a hell of a job. So I think that's the first way they need to establish themselves is early start in the first quarter. So I don't think they can. I don't think they can kind of getting behind is going to be a tall task for them. I would say with the inconsistencies they have across the board with their offense. So that's why to answer your question, I would say early and often they would need to get started and have a good start.
So we talked about Jalen Duren and his inefficiencies over the course of the regular season, and he played 27 minutes in that blowout game. He was 15 points, 7 for 10, 11 rebounds. It was arguably is probably one of his better games of the playoffs in terms of efficiency. And Paul Reed ate up all the Isaiah Stewart minutes. So we still saw Paul Reed out there. He had 17 points in 16 minutes. So we saw the Paul Reed still out there. We didn't see Isaiah Stewart, and that was the odd person out. And that's where I thought this was interesting because of the commitment of, hey, we're still trusting Duren. We're still going to go to Duren. He's going to figure this out eventually. Cade Cunningham, I think, can go into this game and have one of those big Cade Cunningham type games. I'm curious defensively what the Cavs are going to be able to do. If they're going to throw more doubles at him, try to force the ball out of his hand, try to make one of these other guys actually beat you. But I just don't know if that's all the way just possible for this Cavaliers group, honestly. I think that the battle on the glass, and if one side is able to sway and really like dominate over the other side, that could be a big pivotal moment in this game. But it's really going to be how good can Donovan Mitchell and James Harden be in a game 7 on the road. And we've talked about this over the course of, well, James Harden's entire career. It's been moments in Donovan Mitchell's career. I'm pretty sure it's one of those moments where Donovan Mitchell eliminated James Harden. Wasn't that Jazz team eliminating that Rockets team in the playoffs or something like that? But like, I mean, it feels like it's been a walking meme for years talking about, oh yeah, James Harden in a game 7, this is gonna be horrible. And then we're slowly starting to add Donovan Mitchell into that same bucket of these are guys that are just not getting it done in the playoffs. And so you got two guys not getting it done on the playoffs on the road, and they gotta have good games. Like, I think James Harden has to be closer to the 10 assist double-double range in this game. The 20 points would be very helpful, a 20 and 10 type game from James Harden. Mitchell's gotta be close to 30, if not in the 30s or past the 30s, and that level of good. And I just don't know if I don't know if I trust them in this situation. I don't know if I trust the Cavs overall as a team. I very, very, very much would love the Cavs to win this game. I think the Knicks beat the Cavs in a 7-game series. Detroit, still a little bit questionable for me, but I think they 100% beat the Cavs. With that being said, I guess that means I'm on Detroit laying 4.5.
Yeah, I like Detroit as well. I thought you brought up some interesting points. I just think that their path to victory is easier than what the Cavs is. The Cavs, you talked about their offense being there, but we've seen Detroit win without offense, and we've seen them be in a position to win without offense, despite the turnovers that Cade had, like the boneheaded decisions that Jalen Duren was playing. I thought JB did something unique, and he was playing both of the bigs at the same time. He would play Duren and Paul Reed at the same time. He would play Duren and Stewart. He would play Stewart and Paul Reed to kind of mix up some of the things that the Cavs wanted to do with their double big lineup. So, I mean, I thought the intensity for the Pistons was a lot higher, and that's obviously to be expected with a back against the wall. Now the Cavs had the luxury of having a game 7, but it being on the road, which is kind of a different dynamic than if the roles were reversed and it was the Pistons having a game 7. But all in all, I just like the path to victory for the Pistons. I don't like the way the Cavs. They have to have. You absolutely have to have great games from Mitchell and Harden both at the same time. Like, and then you have to have Evan Mobley be, within that 16 to 17 and 9 range. But he has to be effective early. He's got to be aggressive. And I don't know what they're going to do with Jared Allen, because they're going to play Jared Allen off the floor a little bit late in the game when they went with Paul Reed, because Paul Reed's able to, actually create off the dribble a little bit for himself. So Jared Allen struggled a little bit with that. I just think the defense for the Pistons is going to be the great equalizer in this matchup. I do think Mitchell has a really good game. I think he's too talented not to. How the officials call the game is big as well, because I saw I got called for like two or three fouls that were they were like elementary. I don't think they should have probably been called, but they're probably going to not call that at home. So if he can be a little bit more handsy with Mitchell, I think that's going to cause some issues for him. And then you're depending on Harden to kind of step up in a big way. Now he played well over the past game and a half, I would think. But like you said, he's got to be more of the facilitator later in the game. I want to see him be aggressive early, kind of hunt his shot a little bit more, get to the free throw line, and then get those guys involved whenever he's got his rhythm, because he can get his offense pretty much anytime. So. Yeah, I think the Pistons run. I think the Pistons run away with it late. I think it's a good game early, and then the Pistons kind of close them out in the fourth quarter behind a big performance from Cade.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just I think there's a version of me that Lonte was doing this show years ago. That would have been like if we saw James Harden in this game 7 here and we realized, because ultimately that's what I feel like it comes down to with this Cleveland Cavaliers team. How good can James Harden be? This is why you brought James Harden in. This is the leap that you wanted to take to make sure that you were able to go and put yourself in position to get to the NBA Finals. James Harden has to come in here, especially if they clamp down on Mitchell. He's got to come in here and have like a really, really good game. Like, shut up all doubt. And I just don't know if it's in him. Whereas the Pistons can play ugly, ugly basketball here and win an ugly, ugly basketball game. Am I 100% positive that the Cavs are going to be able to win an ugly, ugly game here? Like, they took a monumental comeback, and I just don't know if what was that in game? What was that game 4, 5, 5? Yeah, monumental comeback in game 5 to win that kind of game, and I just don't know if Detroit lets that happen again. So it's like ugly game. I'm going with Detroit every time.
Yep,
Yep.
completely agree.
Yep. Very much so. All right. We're on Pistons this go around. 206.5 is total.
Yeah, I'm going over. I do think the Pistons offense has kind of found something with the way that they've been playing. They've been putting Cade a little bit more off ball. Now I know he didn't have the scoring game that we typically know from Cade, but him being off ball, I thought he was a little bit more energized late in the game. And I mean, obviously they didn't need him to to close it out or anything because they were winning by such a margin. But I thought he was crisper in the second half versus having to bring the ball up, initiate the offense, score, and Dennis Jenkins was great. Marcus Sasser gave some great minutes. I thought he was great. Obviously, Paul Reed. So I really do think that the Pistons will be able to score here. And if the Cavs are going to have any shot, which I think it'll be a competitive game. I think their offense is going to have to get going as well. So I like both teams. I like both teams to be able to score. It might get, you know, if they come out hot early, maybe look at it like an under live. But this number right here, I mean, they've been over this in what, three of the last four of the last five games. So I like the over. I know it's a bit of a contrarian play, but I like the over, especially in a game seven.
I will go under. I will not be contrarian. Game seven unders. I expect to see the defense load up here from the Detroit Pistons. That's how I think the Pistons win the game, is that they just go ham defensively and really close up all the holes and make it really, really hard on the Cavs to struggle to score the ball here on the road. And so I think it's a lower scoring game. I will go under 205.5. Lonte, we'll talk about player props in just 1 second. But first, I got to make sure I talk to the people about Brocco. The casino and sportsbook Brocco, tons of great ways to get in on the action as they got you covered for all the major sports, offering over 100,000 sports markets a month. Brocco's available in a ton of states, and Wednesdays are for blackjack. Play blackjack on Wednesdays, get 50% of your losses back. Depositing and withdrawing is very easy. Money in, money out, lightning fast. Bank, Apple Pay, crypto, doesn't matter. Make sure you go tap in with Brocco. Get a free $5 and purchase match up to $100 at Brocco using promo code SGPN. That's BRACCO. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Kalshi. Real money prediction market legal in a ton of states. Kalshi has a ton of different trading options for your favorite sports: NBA, WNBA, MLB. And also, hey, new Kalshi customers get $10 when they use that promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. All right, player props. What you
Yeah,
like?
one of my favorite player props is going to be Tobias Harris. I like his points and rebounds. I like his points. I mean, he's got 20 plus points in four of his last five at home. He's been underwhelming a bit over the last two games. He had a stretch in game five where he was, or game six. Was it game six? No, it was game five. That he had a stretch where he rattled off like 4 or 5 in a row. I think he was in foul trouble. He didn't play a ton of minutes, 24 minutes in the last game. 6 points. Was he in foul trouble? I think he was. He wasn't. Yeah, he was in foul trouble. He had like two early fouls, so that's why I thought they found something with the double big lineup. But I think Tobias Harris is going to play extremely well at home. So I like his points and rebounds to go over that points. His points is at where are you, Tobias Harris? Tobias Harris is at I don't see him. Oh yeah, 16 and a half. Yeah, so I like that over. And then the points are at 22 and a half. So he's had 5 plus rebounds and a lot of them. So that's one of my favorite ones. I'm gonna go with Mitchell. It's a chalk play, but I think he's gonna have a big game. I think he's gonna have to, or the Pistons might blow them out. If he doesn't have 30, I think the Pistons could probably win by 11, 12 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with him. I like the Harden assist. He hasn't been passing the ball or distributing the ball as effectively lately, so I'm going with his assist. That's over. What is this? Over 6.5 plus money. So those are the three that I really like.
All right. I will say I like the K Cunningham play. I am I kind of I kind of do want to go in on the fade of James Harden and just saying James Harden's not going to get this done. It's kind of how I feel. Not necessarily there with it all the way. but it's something. Well, maybe I can do. What's Harden's turnovers at? He had 8 last game. James Harden's probably at 4.5 again, honestly. Oh, let's see. James Harden on the turnovers. Yeah, 4.5 plus money. He's been over the last 2 games. I don't think that's a horrible play. Paul Reed, where you at, my brother? I just feel so vindicated because we were hustling Paul Reed in the Joel Embiid hurt games and getting money when he was in Philly, and now here he is in the playoffs, cashing more money, cash for us again last game, and he's at 7.5 points, Lonte. 7.5. What? No way. No way. So I will take Paul Reed to go over 7.5 yet again. He's been over this in 4 straight games in the series. 11, 15, 10, and 17 in those games. With that, I probably will correlate it to I think I will correlate it to Jalen, not yeah, Jalen Duren. I'm getting all the Jalen's mixed up. I think I will correlate it to Jalen Duren and take the Jalen Duren under on the PRA. Somebody said it in the chat, asked about it, the over under, but like Duren's just not been consistent. And he had a good game last game. And that was like the perfect game for the Detroit Pistons. I doubt he does that again. I really do. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll lock in on Duren under. I will take the over on Reed. Reed's been so good, man. He's going to get himself a nice new contract next year. All right. Mm, what else? Anything else? Cavs side of the ball?
I like Dennis Jenkins over 11.5 points. He's been over in 4 of 6. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of all those 4 games that he went over were at home. He's had combined 4 points on the road. Karis LeVert is questionable with the injury, so I'm not sure if he's going to give it a go. And if he doesn't, that's just more minutes for Dennis Jenkins. So I would expect him to play really well at home. He's been a spark plug to kind of jumpstart their offense. He started last game, but I think he'll probably come off the bench. He started for Duncan Robinson when Duncan Robinson was out. So
Mm-hmm.
and he also started when Duncan Robinson came in. He came off the bench. So I think him coming off the bench is probably a better move here because they're going to need his energy and his kind of shot making ability off the bench. So I like him over 11.5 points. I mean, he's over it in 4 of 6, and all of those were at home. So he should play well here.
All right. Let's transition this into our underdog fantasy entry, Lonte. Make sure you play $5. Get $50 in bonus funds when you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Underdog Fantasy. Pick higher or lower your favorite player fantasy stats. We are over here. We'll build our Game 7 lineup right now. So I think if he's here, and he should, Paul Reed 7.5 has to be in there.
Yeah, I like that.
Higher. All right.
What else did you say you like prop wise?
Uh, I can really go for a little bit of anything. I can fade Harden on the turnovers. I can do what you got. I can do anything.
Yeah, the Harden turnovers is cool.
And then what you got?
And then you said you like the Duran under or lower.
Yeah, that's a play I like too. I think it's correlated to the
Yeah,
replay.
throw those in there. That's 3 right there.
Duran's not available. Give me something else.
Um, why is he not available?
Yeah, points and rebounds for Duran not being available is kind of crazy, but yeah, not available.
If you want to go Mitchell higher on his points,
You think he scores today?
yeah, I do. Or if you want to go Cade, whichever one between those two, whatever you prefer. They're both around the same. I mean, Cade's 26.5, but I mean, I
Who
just
do you like more? Do you like Cade or Mitchell more?
probably Mitchell because the volume's going to be there.
All right. It's reverse correlation. It could work out. We got James Harden higher turnovers. Mitchell's like, yeah, okay, I can believe it. James Harden higher 4.5 turnovers. Donovan Mitchell higher 25.5 points. And Paul Reed higher 7.5 points. Add that into Underdog, shake it up. You're gonna get 6.82x. $100 get you $682 over there. Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. All right. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. make sure you go check out Rhythm, who has been cooking, and I mean cooking, with the WNBA player props on their smart signals. Make sure you lock in with Rhythm. Go tap in with their models, cash big with their models, or make your own models. You hear about people talk about my model, my model, my model. Well, you can make your own model over there at Rhythm. Make sure you go check it out. Let's see what's on the WNBA Smart Signal player prop for today. Oh, they've got a number of things listed here. Oh, this is one that I'm sure a lot of the people will love. Sophie Cunningham to go over 1.5 3-pointers made today against Seattle Storm. Seattle's been horrible. Fever trying to get some type of rhythm going into the season. I could see Sophie Cunningham stepping into the corner, hitting 2 threes. It's plus money as well. So make sure you go check out the smart signals over there at Rhythm. Use that promo code SGPN25, and that is going to give you 25% off your first month at Rhythm. Download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. All right. Lonte, lock dog prop.
Yeah, for the lock, give me Pistons -1.5 in the first quarter. We talked about the home court advantage. I think they're going to be juiced up. Got to get off to a good home start. Force Cleveland to play from behind. So let's go with them -1.5 in the first quarter. For the dog, give me Tobias Harris, 20 plus points. That will pay you. Give me 1 second. My bad. I got to get an updated number. That should pay you a nice price. Points. 20 plus. Tobias will play you 175. That's going to be my dog. For the prop, give me Dennis Jenkins over 11.5 points. Talked about it earlier. He's been over in 4 of 6. All of those 4 came at home. He scored a combined 4 points on the road. I do think he plays well. More minutes if LeVert is out. I think they may go to him a little bit more than Duncan Robinson just for defensive purposes. So I think he'll be on the floor a lot to make an impact. Dennis Jenkins over 11.5 for the 11.5 points for the prop.
All right. I will go with, whoa, lock under 205.5 in the game. I think that this is the Detroit Pistons defense that is the reason that they got to this point, and that is the reason that they win the game. Offense doesn't look amazing, but they do enough, keep it close. I like under 205.5. Let's go to the prop. Prop is going to be fading Duran on the PR, and just saying he continues not to have the great of games, even though he had 15 and 11 last game. It goes back down under 21.5. That's my prop. And then my dog is the other side of that correlation. Duran goes under, Reed goes over, because yeah, Paul Reed 10 plus points is still plus 146. Like, come on. He's been killing. Yes, I will take that. Paul Reed gets to another 10 points there. Free plus money for you. I'm actually going to ladder that because 12 is plus 256. And I think he could very well get to 12. Lonte, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Good. Everybody enjoys Game 7.
All right. With that, he's at XX Lonte XX. I'm at really real __. Make sure you give us a follow at SGPN NBA, youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast. And make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Apple, Spotify, doesn't matter. With that, that's it. Enjoy Game 7. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to like this. We are